Abavips, VIP, mumeze neza murakomeye. This is Gail, yours truly, aka Coach Gail. Kuri Instagram na YouTube, nongeye kubahobera cyane, tukaba turi muri top 1% podcast. So here's the thing, ahanga no handi tuganira ibintu by'ubwenge. Business, entrepreneurship ndetse no kwiteza imbere. Bakaba mubizi buri munsi yuko muri kumwe n'aba co-host banjye. Young bright minds. Abantu nanjye vraiment mvuga n'ubu bari petit frère mugana abana. Ni mubitege.
Adashya.
Yeah, bazatwikaza. So the thing is, let me introduce to these guys. So on my right, niho mpera buri munsi ndi kumwe na Tony. Tony ingo akaba ari young man ariko tumwita leadership and motivation expert n'ibintu bye. And then we have Eddie muraza kose kumva you are a business expert ibintu byose bijyanye na business systems and stuff like that. Maybe navuga kabisa yes, this is great. And then on my left we have Kenny, economic
enthusiast.
Yeah.
Karakugora man.
Enthusiast.
Yeah.
So Novango and also a young entrepreneur as well. Ariko urumva ka ibintu byose bya economics ashaka kubyivanga mutu. Akabikunda and stuff like that. So tubaganiriza bitandukanye kuri ibyo bintu. So uyu munsi rero this is a podcast tuzaza kubaganiriza ibintu bitandukanye ariko turashobora ku kintu kimwe. High performers mindset. Ese abantu bateye imbere mubona reka turi ko rakomeye Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, barabameka bakomeye ndetse nogera mu bihugu byacu tuzi bateye imbere abatuyobora bafite ubwo bariho. Ubura bari abantu bafite uburyo batekereza butandukanye nubwo abandi bantu bose bari average. Hari saying rero mu cyo bita ngo top 1%. Akora impamvu twise ikintu kiganiro cyacu tukakita ngo top 1%. Ko ba VP turashaka kubashira muri top 1%. Ngo top 1% rimwe kwijana y'abatuye ku isi babahanga batekeza mu buryo butandukanye nibo bakontorana mu 99% by'ubutunzi bwose muri ku isi. So turashaka kugera aho hantu. Tuzaganiriza uyu munsi rero ukuntu wahindura ibitekerezo byawe kuko mindset ni ikintu cyo guhinduka, right? Tuzaganira kurusha guhindura ibitekerezo byawe ugatekereza nk'umuwina, umuntu watsinda, umuntu atera imbere. Hanyuma tuzabiganiraho ibitekerezo bitandukanye. Hanyuma tuze no kuza kuvuga ku topic gasekeje ndashaka ko tuza kaba nka bonus kavuga ngo imenyetso 10 bikwereka ko wapi byarakurangiranye ntagushobora
Nago akira niyo bagira uti.
Actually the article nabonye muri CNBC ivuga ngo 10 signs you won't be rich. Ibintu 10 bishobora gukoreka neza kabisa ko ashobora kutazashya ariko aracyari kare ushobora kubihindura at any time. So let's start guys. So high performance mindset. Ese koko abantu bateye imbere abantu bagize ku bintu runaka batekeza muri bitandukanye. That's the question to start. Tony,
I strongly agree with you kuko impamvu mbyemera nuko uzasanga no mu bana batoya ndebera urugero cyane mu bana batoya kuko nibo batwereka picture y'iyo dukuze hatarajyamo logic nyinshi. Umwana ushobora gufata abana babiri ukabahereza igikinisho kimwe, umwe akagitera hariya kikameneka undi akagitera hariya kikameneka, but their reaction will always be different. Hari uzagenda akahita ashaka kubikavaringa akagerageza kugifixinga bikanga ahubwo agagerageza kubihisha ababyeyi katakinaga munsi ya carpet cyangwa inyuma y'intebe
kishira
akabihisha ababyeyi kuko adashoboye kugifixinga. Hari undi uzakimena akahita azanira ababyeyi akavuga ati pardon yatasi wamaye yamenetse.
Gusutwika ninde burababe
Utwika in the end for the top 1% in the world ni wa wundi uzagerageza kubihisha. Do you know why? We yagerageje gusolvinga the problem na knowledge afite na experience afite ariko biranga. Ahubwo wa wundi we ari dependent. So the top 1% people na bafite mindset iri independent but not dependent.
Right.
That's my first point.
Bawumva nyine back fixing. Donc bo nabarumva bari hano kugira ngo batunganye ibintu.
Exactly.
They are fixers.
Exactly.
They have to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Urumva bo ntago ba complaining, they have to fix the problem.
Yego. And every time you're in your business, excuses destroy more than failures. Did you know that?
Right.
Every time that you fail, but you don't make an excuse, you win. Because when you fail, you find a solution, you move. But when you fail, you make an excuse, you're doomed to fail. You're down. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So, reka mbahereze my own definition of the who is the high performer to myself? The high performer is someone who gains far much more credit than the average. So, bishatse kuvuga ngo we might be doing the same thing, ariko as a high performer, the edge ufite is far greater than the average person doing that. Ibyo tubibona in wealth creation. Umuntu ufite amafaranga menshi afite menshi kurenza the average person. Umuntu uhembwa amafaranga muri football ahembwa menshi kurenza the average, right? So they exude that character ituma bidistinga. Nkoresha hari graphic nkunda gukoresha cyane. Bikuvuga ngo there is two extremes zitangira, then there is igikavu kiri hejuru. Iki gikavu nicyo kirimo abantu benshi. These are average people. Ba bandi top performers but on the extremes. Ni ba bantu who can literally charge 10x the thing abandi barimo baracharging the average, right? So kuri njyewe mbibara as a mindset kubera ko it's the perspective. Hari story nasomye about two people bagiye gusura in India. Basanga the community is barefoot, like nta muntu wambaraga inkweto. One person yagiye ari gutera story aho yaravuye in university avuga ngo musika no muri India bakiri kure ku buryo nta numwe unambara n'inkweto. The other person yavuyeyo ari fired up. Ari kuvuga ngo you know what? Nagiye ahantu nabonye abantu tugiye guselinga shoes ziri really cheap. Bakazigura. So one ended up starting this boda. This is a plastic. Niho zatangiriye. Atari exporting in India kuko the community was too cheap to afford that. The other bajanye. Here's the thing. It's a life-changing perspective. They saw the same thing, but the interpretation was different. So high performers. So high performers ntago bafite magie. Ntago bafite ibindi bintu birenze abandi badafite. Ikintu bafite is the interpretation iri beyond average. You can see the same thing, ariko the interpretation and internalization is different. N'uburyo ba bringing to life that which they saw. It's the same thing in Bible. Bohereza ngo bajye guscoutinga ubutaka bwana bari bagiye gutera. Icumi baje bavuga ngo abantu bari hariya
ntaje twabakoraho
n'abatwitsi dusubira inyuma tujye bongere badukoronize. Joshua and Caleb.
Andi barati hara niho
baravuga So Joshua and Caleb, they are the top 1%.
Yes.
They possess that mindset. Yo kureba giants bakaba reducing amo into something that can be
baravuze ngo nk'akawunga turaza
twabarya mu bugari kabisa.
They are like locusts.
So
Hadasha.
Tutangire church.
Para Pegasus.
Toxica dokazi wa.
Sai zo zino.
Yeah.
Kuvuga ngo ni nyine muri mindset. Bamwe babonye aba giants abandi babona no this is and you still bikunze cyane. You story actually nubwo bari nyumvise. Umwe aragiye avuze ati abantu yawo nta nkweto bambara undi avuze ati let's solve this problem. Because kurya bindi yavugaga you go you're a fixer, you want to fix a problem. Urumva ko wahamawe ngo ukemura ikibazo runaka. So it's just a mindset really. Ntago rwa ngo abantu bateye imbere cyane bari special mu byo gutekereza. Niyo bivuga.
Njyewe rero I will ndasa nkuza kuva kuri side yabo. Bo bagiye cyane ku bintu by'ibitekerezo. Ariko the top 1% iyo bayivuze muri rusange hari abantu bayivukiramo hari n'abayijyamo ku ngufu. So bavuga ko abantu benshi self-made millionaires almost ari benshi cyane, they are like 70% self-made millionaires. Ariko the 30% baba barabivukiyemo.
No, but 70% apani bisi yose. 70%
ba millionaires.
So 70% of the people baba millionaire. N'abantu babyikoreye. Bakabyinheriting.
Okay. Iyo 30 rero ngiye niyo ngiye kugarukaho. Kako mwe mwavuze kuri iyo 70. Iyo 30%, iyo 30% ikintu babatoza bakiri bato cyane ni systems z'ukuntu bakoresha amafaranga. Twebwe hari ukuntu tuba tutaratojwe ibintu by'amafaranga cyane tukiri bato. Cyane ngiye ndibuka nka mbere amafaranga yari sakirirego kuyafata. Kumva ko umwana afite amafaranga by'abagabo buko ari sakirirego. Hari nk'abashyitsi bajyaga baza kudusura bakansigira amafaranga mama aracyafite. Ariko mama ntago nyakwishyuza.
baturimo amafaranga
akagufatira ntuzagere kuyabona.
tugiye gukora urubuga rwo kwishyuza ababyeyi uzi ko ugiye muri amafaranga
ababyeyi barayafata
ntacyo naguzemo umugati.
Urumva rero hari systems byibura abo bana wenda ushobora kuba utarakuye mu muryango ukize cyane wenda waba millionaire nahere kuri top 1% kugira ngo tujyane n'izina rya show, ariko ushobora kuba warakuye no mu muryango usagwa ariko bakwigisha value y'amafaranga. Bakwigisha value y'amafaranga, bakwereka ikintu amafaranga ashobora gukora n'icyo wayakoresha wowe ubwawe ugakura ufite value. Twebwe twakuze dufite values z'ibyo tuzaba. Bakomeje badushyiramo ibintu nk'ubu papa ngiye ni engineer. Numvaga akazi keza karuta ibindi byose ari kuba umu engineer. Ariko sinigeze ntekereza ku rwego ngo wari umunsi umwe ngo nawe umukire wa mbere ku isi. Those were not my dreams. Kandi icyo kintu cyo kuvaluinga money is a thank you from another person. Umuntu yaguhaye amafaranga ye, he's just saying thank you. Iyo umuntu akwishyuye renti abarimo bati thank you kuko wamahondara. So ntago bigeze baduha ikintu cyo gatheringa very many thanks from people. Ahubwo baduhaye twiga dukura mu mashuri, baduhaye something kitubwira ngo go be this kugira ngo urutaba. Ntago bigeze baduha ako kantu. Ako kantu rero the top 1% igafite kurusha abandi. They like the thank you. They like to solve the
problem.
You know, the problem.
Kenny, nkunganiye just real quick. Ibintu kenavuze it literally touched my heart because nise nibuka ikintu hari impanga ebyiri. Nkuko nje navuka ndi impanga na Edi, right? Tuvuga ku babyeyi babiri se uyu n'umupapa uri n'umumama. Mukabyara impanga turi na Edi. Bavutse papa wabo yari umusinzi, right? Yicwa n'inzoga. Abana bakuze nyuma baza kubakoresha interview barababwira se umwe muri bo anywa undi atanywa inzoga. Babaza wa undi wanywaga baramubwira se why you a drunkard? Kuki unywa inzoga cyane kandi ubona ibintu zakoreye papa wawe? Ahita babwira it's because I was born and raised by a drunkard.
Right.
Ba approachinga wa undi utanywa baramubwira hey papa wanjye yarababyaye yarabareze, you're living a good life nubwo atagihari, but why don't you drink? Ahita basubiza it's because I was born and raised by a drunkard. Bombi, they are correct. Confucius says, if you think you're right and if you think you're not right, you're both usually right. So,
Wow,
Imana, abantu badukurikiye bazi kubyumva. Imana ijya kudushyira ku isi. Imana ntabwo yigeze duhereza iyi meza by the way. Ntabwo yigeze duhereza iyi tasi. Ntabwo yigeze duhereza iyi meza twicayeho cyangwa iyi myenda. Yaduhaye ibiti. Abavip mwumva ibintu. Imana yaduhaye iki giti ahubwo iduhereza the ability to think ko iki giti cyavamo imeza cyavamo iki. Iduhereza marble, iduhereza cloth. Twebwe turatekereza. So aba VIP the top 1% nanjye numva ko ari abo bantu bashobora to look at something and imagine what it could be, not what it is.
What it could be.
Look at what is in form of what it could be, but not what it is.
So actually, kugira ngo dukomeze aho neza koze mu mwese mu byinjiyemo neza. There are a couple things nanditse kuri mindset ya the top 1%. Cyangwa se mindset y'abantu bose batera imbere. Kugira ngo tushire abantu bose babyumve neza. Top mindset y'abantu bose batera imbere. Hari ibintu bine nanditse shaka kuvuga vuba hama mwese mukabicomentinga. If there is anything missing bivuga. So actually there is indi nakoresheje a Bible verse. Hari indi nayo Bible verse nayo vuzeho gatoya. Ivuga ngo as a man thinketh so is he.
So easy.
So this is very, very powerful. Actually n'abandi bantu bakoresha izindi batanezera muri Bible. Birebye na movie bakoze the secret. It's about what you see, what you want. It's going to manifest. So urumva byose ni ikintu gihari. So banzu bibone mu mutwe wawe, you know. Banzu yibone, ubitekereze, uhindure mindset. Hamurebo. Actually there is a doctor called Washington about leadership and growth. It's called Dr. Miles Monroe. The difference between inzovu n'intare. Inzovu, it's the biggest animal. Strongest. Ati wirebye nta gikona kimita crushing iza bikuguru gukikagira. Atariko ibonye intare ihita yibonamo ko ibaye lunch. Atariko intare ibonye ndavuga ati lunch yagira
This is food.
so intare itegeka ishyamba atari uko rero ikomeye atari uko rero nini atari uko igize ikago ni kwitekereza iyo ubonye inzovu iravuga ati uyu munsi iyi ni baga iyi ni baga inzovu yabona intare igatinya
ati ndapfuye.
so here's the thing. So when it comes back to the top 1% mindset, so number one, can do it mindset. Vango nabikora ikintu nakigeraho. You gotta believe ikintu nakigeraho. No negativity. Ko abantu benshi uyu munsi ko ni byinshi byabashikiye n'iki byose abantu benshi ba negative ntabwo bakiri positive. Ako first of all be
Very pessimistic.
pessimistic. Ako banzu ntabwo ushobora kwa utamenya ko tutaba successful uri pessimistic.
Ntabwo bishoboka.
You can't.
So first of all, I can do it.
Yes.
Ugomba kwemera Tony Cruz speaker wa mbere kwisi.
Yes.
Ushobora kuba mbere muri Africa.
Yeah.
You gotta believe that.
Yeah.
Because you cannot kubigira without believing.
Yeah.
So number one, can do it mindset.
Yeah.
And number two, whatever it takes mindset. So this is when now to be garuka kuri inoza sacrifice. I gotta sacrifice. Abantu bose bateye imbere ba sacrificing umunezero w'uyu munsi for the better
Of tomorrow. Yeah.
You know, I actually like a saying kids nkunda kavuga ngo you live like a king and you retire as a slave. But if you live as a slave, you're going to retire as a king. So you have to kwigomwa right now ukinvestis ukagira iki nubwo utatunga aya matelefone ahenze n'abandi bantu bakavuga uti mbanze nigo mu uyu munsi kugira nzagire ku kindi kintu ejo.
I'll live like a king. Yeah.
Number 3, kwiga. Nta muntu n'umwe wateye imbere utatumanitse kwiga. You have to refine your skills twavugaga ikindi. Hama icyanyuma networking. Nta muntu n'umwe wateye imbere atazi gukorana n'abandi bantu.
Very
Because you
important.
cannot do it by yourself. Nibiki mwibaza naba na twakongeraho what do you think about these 4 points kuri mindset y'aba 2.1%?
Wow, that was so profound. The 4 breaking it down. Before when I add another, Chaga collaborating on just the last one. Network. I think a lot of young people are focusing on the wrong stuff.
Right.
Which everybody, like, who started somewhere, had a point pattern, which is not iyo bariho. The first time Apple launched the product, not a lot of people showed up for that, but they tried to network. Ko iyo usomye in the early days za Apple, it is the network Steve Jobs established with a guy was selling computers. Umvikana ko azajya afata loyalty on each.
Oh, really?
Who boosted. Yeah, that's it.
Sure, just the story.
Because actually Steve Jobs yari passionate about tech.
Yeah.
He just happened to meet Steve Wozniak, who was passionate, by the way. Yaragiye asanga back then her user interface yari hari ku buryo ushobora gukora ibintu nabibona.
Right.
Ageze kwa Steve Wozniak asanga the guy yabishize ku rundi rwego. Arandika bikagaragara. Was like, really, is this thing doable?
Right.
Tukaba twicaye ushobora kwandika ibintu nkabibona gutya.
Yeah.
Was like, this is actual gold. So yaravuze ngiye ikintu ngiye gukora, I got a network. Kambwira uriya muntu ibintu dufite, we kuko he's very much connected. So still in network. He's very much connected in the market than us, adufashe to bring it to life. So it is not the person that got Steve Jobs successful. It is the success that got Steve Jobs passionate.
Oh wow. Say it again. I'm sure we can go on.
Yeah. So arigiye uganira n'abantu bakakubwira ngo kugira ngo ube successful ugomba kureba ikintu ukunda akaba ari cyo ukora. But in most instances it's the other way around. Rimwe na rimwe ni ikintu ukora kigakunda ugeraho ukagikunda. You can never be successful at a thing and never be passionate about that. Ntabwo bishoboka.
Uskora ibyo.
Ntabwo bishoboka. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
So the point nashaka bringing home ni iyihe
That's so deep.
about network. Iyo urebye in your phone uka browsing through the contacts, the very thing I'm very much interested in ntabwo ari the number ufitemo abo bantu abari ushobora guhamagara. What I'm interested in ni uko bakwitaba bavuga.
Right.
I can pass on you the number, but it will be a hello. But if Coach Gael calls, araza kwita, yeah, Coach, bimeze bite?
Yes.
So it's not who you call, it's what they respond when they return the call. So the network aspect is very, very critical. if you're gonna be in the top 1%, networking is very key. There is never a person who've made it alone. It's not just possible. Get a network.
Okay, there is even saying that says, if you want to go fast, go by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you want to go further, go with others.
Yeah.
So niba ushaka kugenda vuba genda wenyine. Ako niba ushaka kugera kure cyane abandi.
Riga, here we're talking about business. Let's go into practical terms. Coach, you live in the US. Sibyo? Maybe some of us have visited or not. Ariko hari abatureba bariyo cyangwa bana visiting. Look at the restaurant industry and the cab industry.
Right.
In the US, 80% of the restaurant industry is owned by Indians.
It's true.
This is on camera. 90% in the US cab industry was owned in 2020 by the Jews. Ukuntu babigenzaga, it was the cobweb doctrine. Urabona ukuntu igitagangurirwa cyubaka inzu yacyo kibanza kikubaka hari akantu gatoya kikagenda gispreadinga ukaza kingana gutya, right? Bukuntu babikoraga nta muju nta muhinde winjiraga muri Amerika ngashaka ni n'undi muntu utari umuhinde akuye iwabo. So that person araje barabyaranye, the son they give birth to niwe uzi inheriting the business. Na hano mu Rwanda jya downtown ujya mu mujyi uzasanga hari block y'abahinde yuzuye kandi they are all related.
Ariko rero bakanashikirana.
Barashyigikirana nicyo ndi kugerageza kwerekana. That's the mindset.
Ashobora kuvanuza agarenga amastora ngaha akajya kuri mwene wabo.
Kuri mwene wabo nicyo kintu ndi kugerageza kwerekana. Noneho bagezaho in the US barageraho muri especially in New York. This is on record. People will find out. In New York baragenda bafata the whole restaurant industry. Ugasanga naba Indians. Ahubwo bize guteka izindi dishes z'abandi. So ugasanga ikintu cyose uri gukora, you're feeding the Indian community. When you go to cabs, ugasanga amataxi voiture ni abajuzi. So natwe ahubwo nk'abanyarwanda kuki tutaza hano igikombe cyanditseho Visit Rwanda, iki cyanditseho Made in Rwanda, cyanditseho KGL, ikindi cyanditseho ikindi.
turabikora muri show y'ubutaha.
Ahubwo rero so tugomba gushyigikirana niko abantu batera imbere. That's the cobweb doctrine muri business. Irakora aho ngeze nkumva ko mugenzi wanjye ari bukomerezeho gutyo.
Ako ngo ndiri imitekerereze.
Ni imitekerereze cyane ikomeye. Ariko gaye ngewe ngize icyo mbivugaho, first ndashaka kugira ngo mbanze nkusabe taking a credit for something here. Iyo tuvuze kuri iyi point ya networking, no gonna lie, gaye aba muri Amerika Abavip muramuzi,
aho ndagushyigikiye,
ariko ninjye wamuje na Eddie na Tony.
Cheers to that.
Very important, baby.
Biragaruka. Twavuze cyo kugira gute cyo gushira cyo guserenga yourself. Turi mu gihe cya digital age. Vanga ibintu byose uzi gukora ugomba kwira gute ukabishira hanze. Yambwira ngo umuntu Tony cyangwa umuntu Eddie. Naye kumenya gute?
Icyo ni cyo.
Yavuze ngo abantu bameze gute?
N'abatwitsi.
Look.
Sanga ni kuri YouTube, ni kuri Instagram. That's the thing about me.
So Abavip nicyo kintu nagiye ndagira ngo mehereho kuri icyo kintu cya networking naho mpereye. That is a simple example. Ariko kuri iki kintu mubanze mubashimire n'aba bose turi kumwe, kubera ko reka nkubwize ukuri nta muntu wicaye kuri no table byibura utarumva amasaha 200 cyangwa utarasoma amasaha 200 y'ibitabo. So icyo kiza kuri ya point wavugaga ya learning. Kandi ku learninga nimba ari amasaha 200 y'ibitabo, hari n'andi masaha arenga 600 bakuye mu buzima busanzwe. Business ba consulting ibindi bintu bakoze, business bakoze, every other stuff. Ibyo bagejeje bikora bigaba. Ibyapfuye nibyo byinshi, by the way. Mushaka ko mubona. Kandi nibyo bitwika do, ngiye nibyo bitwika. Buriya
mu Kinyarwanda baravuga ngo
so urumva
No Bruce Melody yavuze ngo hands up.
Nimara ufitaga higa Limba ndazwi mwese byaranze, nuko Imana byari byaranze, ariko haragiye bizaza. Ariko on another thing, icyo ni cyo kwiga. Icyo cyo nagira ngo mubanze mushimire iyi team iza hano yiteguye kandi n'abantu bafite inararibonye kandi babyigiye. Hama ikindi, these people believe they can make it. Abantu ntago bavuye, ngewe wenda nshobora kugira gutya nkaba wishiwashi, ariko abo nzi story zabo hano ni abantu bavuye ahantu ku rwego bariho ubu ngubu abandi bantu batabitekereza. That is very important. Abantu bamwe na bamwe batekereza yuko iyo bavuye ahantu hari disadvantage badashobora kugera ahandi hantu heza. So the belief ugasanga irabuze burundu, ugasanga ntago ibajemo, bakavuga ati nta birenze, nzikorera ibisanzwe noneho nibereho gake gake n'inywere byeri birangire. No, please Abavip turabasabye, ni uko Imana nimba wumva byaranze, ndakubwiza ukuri, hari abantu benshi byari byaranze, ariko mari baragerageje tu, baragerageje bahindura ibitekerezo, bari bazi ko bashobora kubishobora.
Maybe tuzagera tuganire kuri metacognition, ibintu by'ibitekerezo, ariko just to back up your idea. Ejo bundi mu myaka itarenze 2 ishize, His Excellency Barack Obama, he's my idol, right?
Yeah.
Cyari maramamaza mugenzi we wahoze ari vice president wiwe Joe Biden. Yaravuze ngo Joe Biden igihe yarari gukura, igihe cyose bamaranye muri White House, yahoraga amuga ngo mama yaramubwiye ngo hey, you are better than nobody and nobody is better than you. What does that bring? It brings equality.
That's so profound.
So I'll repeat it. You are better than nobody. And nobody in the whole world
is better than
you. So if you give them bituzana on the same table though.
In your mind is actually about high performance.
Exactly.
High performance.
Exactly. Nuzajya ubona umuntu wachivinza byinshi uvuga ati he's not better than me. Nawe nubona uri munsi yawe nuvuga ati ntunywa gatunda reka kirazira.
Nuvuga ngo uramurusha. Ejo zazamuka kiki.
Kirwa ndavuga isi ni gatebe gato.
No, uba insecure. Ariko noneho ngewe kuri point ya nyuma kugira ngo nyine twari turakora recap before you say that. Iyo bavuze ngo whatever it takes, guys, they mean it. It whatever it takes.
That's the hard part, Kenny.
Whatever it takes ni ibintu bigoye cyane. Urumva hari ahantu ugera umutima ukanga, ukumva ngenda bivuga mu buryo bworoheje, hari abandi bahura mu buryo bugoye, ukumva uracyashaka kandi gasaha kamwe ku musego. Ariko ugasaha kamwe karaza kwica ibintu byinshi, karaza kwica ama phone calls, karaza kwica ama emails.
Yaravuze ku kintu cyitwa the whatever it takes mindset. Kambabwira akantu gafound. Faith is action in absence of evidence.
Right.
The whole thinking mfite is if you can't do that, absent of evidence, don't do that. Evidence that it's working, evidence that it's making progress. Kubera ko there is always the dark tunnel. Kandi niho abantu benshi bagwiramo, right? So iyo turimo turavuga the mindset of high performance, this is what we're talking about. It's the belief that's so strong enough that even if there is no sign that this thing is working, that spark irakomeza izamuke. Ugiye the Henry Ford who made the first motor y'imodoka yaravuze ngo timu yanjye iyo mbaza community mbere yo gukora imodoka nkabaza ngo mushaka iki, they would have said faster horses. Kuko they didn't possess the idea of a car in their mind.
Yes.
People usually don't know what they want until they're presented to that.
Exactly.
As a high performance, what I believe to be critical, you gotta have a clear and vivid, transparent to you. Because you can pursue that if you can't see that. Because the philosophy is, you gotta see that before you see it. And where do you see that?
In your mind.
In your mind.
And that's the thing. And that's my saying we must remember about turangiza iyi topic. So I always say this thing. If you see it in your mind, you touch it with your hands. And you see it in your wallet. Perfect.
Ngewe kuri amasegonda 30 Abavip icyo nshaka kubabwira. Ngewe the perfect example nabonye ya whatever it takes. Dore n'uyu mugabo twicaranye. I know his story. Most of you might know him like an entrepreneur, like a YouTuber, like a guy who is bringing education to you. Mutwitsi. You see? just enjoying his life ariko reka babwize ukuri
enjoyment.
na enjoyment this guy slept in a car muri winter
For 1 year. though.
for 1 year amafaranga ya renta yafite
naryamaga muri modoka apana muri winter muri summer
mu modoka yiryamagamo muri sama
Ken ari kubyoroshya.
muri
Ken,
winter ukaryama muri
tubivuge
moto
neza.
muri moteri
mu kamoteri k'umuhinde w'umushi
muri moteri ni nka geto waryamaga i Nyamirambo
mfite amafaranga ariko y'inzu
ariko ufite amafaranga y'inzu
whatever it takes mindset
so urumva yakoreraga amafaranga ariko akavuga ati reka nze nifunge kugira ngo hazagire ikintu
There's a
nubaka
big picture.
njyewe to me abantu benshi bakunda kuvuga ati wenda nuko tubera ko nuko ko abantu benshi bavuga wenda nuko tuvukana ariko no ibi ngibi mu serious about this ibi ntago ari umuntu wese ubikora abana b'imfura bakunda kwitanga ndabizi ariko habaho no kwitanga kurenza so njyewe the perfect example of whatever it takes is just on our side here
nkongera akantu gato kavuga ngo accountability requires vision. You can't hold yourself committed to a discipline if you don't see something in you. Nuzabona abantu who are wasting their lives, the problem is simple. Ntabwo uko biyanga, they don't see something.
right
So the Bible says, if you can't see what what God is doing in your life, you stumble along yourself. If people can't see that vision, they fall apart. So just the last thing ngiye gukomentinga waruvuze kuri mindset. Nasomye igitabo cya Yuval Noah about human evolution. And he was talking about the evolution y'umuntu ukuntu yatangiye kugeza ubwo ageze in the modern age. Interesting enough, agitangira ari kuvuga ngo bagerageje kwiga distinction yari iri hagati y'umuntu and apes n'izindi nyamaswa. They didn't see something unusual.
right
Kuko bose balivingaga on instinct, on survival. Ni ikinda ry'uyu munsi. Ikintu cyonyine baburaga cyatumaga badatandukana n'inyamaswa. They didn't have the mindset. Batekerezaga as survivalist. The only distinction, I don't know, evolution yatangije, the human evolution is the imagination. Ikintu cyonyine cyatandukanyije umuntu with inyamaswa is the ability to not just see,
to imagine
Tomorrow,
but to
the day
imagine
after.
kuko n'inyamaswa zibona ibihari.
Yeah.
But kureba ibintu bidahari and you internalize that.
Yeah.
That's the superpower turengeje inyamaswa.
Yeah.
actually there is a word iyo ngiyo yitwa delayed gratification. So you don't want to enjoy your most
Right now, you delay.
how do you most you delay
You
today.
delay it. Yeah.
urumva uratinza umunezero w'uyu munsi kubera kubona ibintu byinshi byiza biri imbere.
Ariko
hari amapegasi yo muri 2018 ntagiyemo
No, let me ask you. Reka mbabaze twese turi abantu turi hano turi i Kigali. The delayed gratification. Ubu ngubu nzareke kwinjoyinga amafaranga mfite uyu munsi ngo nzareke kwinjoyinga miliyoni mfite uyu munsi ngo ndashaka miliyari nzaba mfite umwaka utaha ibintu tuzabiganira ubutaha
Tuzaganira ubutaha
tuzabiganira
ubutaha kuko nabyo ntabwo biri clear.
cyane biranagoye cyane ukuntu i Kigali twiga ariko
hadashyase
tuzabireba
Gisimenti
ubutaha.
biryogocogamo Pegasi biragoye tuzabiganira.
naye byaramvunye
But here's the thing though. Ndashaka tuza kuri topic ya nyuma. Dusigaje iminota 10 yonyine. Kanota 10 ndashaka yuko dukina wa mukino tumuva mu mukino. Ndabaha a topic nabonye actually kandi banayibonye. It's in okay, mu kinyamakuru it's an article nyine gusoma muri MG staff ibintu bya business na CNBC. Ndavuga ngo 10 signs you never be rich. Ibintu 10 Abavip muri article y'abantu baba expert mu bintu byanuza bavuga ngo nibi bintu 10 bifite
Umenye ko
cya kimwe bitatu
hatazashya.
umenye ko hatazashaka umenye yuko bizabigoranye yuko watwika
Okay.
yes
cyangwa wagira amafaranga.
Okay.
So none nagira ngo tubivugeho hamanoho akose mvuge point
Yeah.
okay,
one sentence ya commenting
Dukomeze.
one sentence though.
Yes.
one sentence
ya
dukomeze.
commenting.
Nta kibazo.
So point ya mbere iravuga ngo you despise or you hate rich people.
Yes, I do.
wirengagiza cyangwa wanga
tubivuge mu kinyarwanda
usuzugura point ya mbere
usuzugura cyangwa wanga
umuntu usuzugura cyangwa wanga abakire umuntu ashobora gukira
yego njyewe ndavuga yego impamvu ni imwe igihe cyose ikintu wanga ntabwo ushobora kukigeraho buri gihe mu buzima bwacu dusitrevinga kugera ku kintu dukunda niba nkunze ubukire nzabugeraho niba mwanze ntabwo nzabugeraho
ase kuki abantu banga abantu ariko ibyo by'ibintu hari abantu banga abakire cyangwa se babasuzugura bavuga ati hari ibisambo
impamvu umuntu yanga umuntu w'umukire ni uko yiritatinga ibintu yignorinze gukora buri uko amubonye amwibutsa ko yadifarinze responsibility to be that bigahora bizana pain muri we ntabwo wakwanga ikintu unless kizamura pain y'ibyo warujise kandi nawe byarashobokaga
ngewe kwanga umukire ku bwanjye it is very logical cyangwa ntabwo byumvikana kuko umukire wenda hari impamvu nyinshi zo kwanga abakire hari abakire beza ariko hari n'abakire basuzugura ariko hari n'abakire birata n'ibindi byose nabo barahari ariko uyu urumva kwirata
nagutije umukubuzo wanjye
kwirata kw'abakene iyo kubaye abakene cyane buba amagambo bakuvuga nabi bibitiko ariko ngewe urumva kuko buri kintu cyose gifite opposite yacyo ku bakire babanga rirata ariko umuntu ufite itiko buriya akize yakwirata
nta mukere wirata ahubwo agira amateka ahubwo nta mugira ukiri itiko
arirata
si wakwirata uri umukene
Abavip iyi ni koti y'umutwe ke umuyandika no kwitwitinga uyu munsi urayitwitinga okay icya kabiri niba ugura ibintu udashoboye kugura ushobora gukira sivuga ngo you buy things you can't afford
turahereye iburyo cyangwa ibumoso
bikaba ngombwa yuko wafata nk'ideni ngo ugure ikintu kugira ngo utwike cyangwa se peer pressure
ngendagendera kuri koti ya Jay-Z twese situmuzi
mutwitsi
Jay-Z yaravuze ngo if you cannot afford it twice don't buy it
okay
that's as simple as it is niba udashoboye kugura iyi tasi inshuro ebyiri Abavip ntuzayigure kuko impamvu ni iyi niba mfite miliyoni muri banki yanjye hakaba hari
iPhone igura miliyoni
iPhone tureke na miliyoni igura 800 ntashobora kuyigura kabiri ntabwo ngomba kuyigura kuko uzaba wiyishe wowe
uruvuga ngo gura ya iPhone 800 ariko ufite miliyoni 300 zibiri
yego ugomba kuyigura kabiri niko Jay-Z yavuze ngiye rero baranze ngenda kuri Jay-Z
well on that point nshaka kuba indi perspective ntabwo ikintu gikomeye ari the purchase ikintu gikomeye is maintenance kuko nshobora kuba nareba a good car nkayigura but maintaining the wealth
the car
and wellness of the car is a different story
right
so before you make a purchase banzure niba maintenance yayo ishoboye
wow okay good
wow
that's good
ngewe ikintu nabivugaho icyo ngicyo umva ubuzima bw'i Kigali burahenze turabyemera twese abantu benshi bajya bakunda kubivuga bakabinyura hejuru ariko please sibyo nubwo buhenze fata amezi 6 ubure inshuti zawe zikuburi cyangwa umwaka ugaruke wageze ku kintu ushobora kugura ibyo bintu bapostinga
igiki se
akantu reka nkubwire hari ukuntu ugenda ukifata nk'umwaka wose ntacyo amasegonda 10 ushobora kugenda nimba ukora nk'ibihumbi 100 ushobora kugenda ukajya usevinga ka 20000 ibintu ibihumbi 100 bikora na 80000 yabikora ntago mbabeshye wakwishyuramo inzu wenda moya cyane ariko ka 20000 kaba kicaye ariko ubikoze umwaka wose n'ibihumbi 120 ibihumbi 120 no ibihumbi 20 n'ibihumbi 240 ibihumbi 240 ushobora gufungura akantu k'injugu ubutaha ukabutega moto umwaka utaha ariko byavuye muri bya bihumbi 20 wiyima ugatega bisi ndabasabye njyewe nimba utashobora kwafodinga ikintu gukiritse kizaza mu gihe cyacyo
okay niba wita kubyo bana gutekerezaho cyane amufakira if you really emphasize on what people think about you ntabwo uzakira donc niba bituma uhindura ibintu ugomba gukora ukita ku byo abantu bakuvuga n'ibyo gukeka ntabwo uzakira.
Since I'm going first,
10
I'll just
seconds, yeah.
10 seconds. Muhammad Ali yaravuze, whatever you think I am, that I am. But what I think I am the greatest.
Right.
And Muhammad Ali was the greatest. Icyo nitekerezaho, icyo wowe witekerezaho is what has the impact on your life, not what other people have to say or to think.
Wow.
Tuzabijyamo in depth.
Another perspective again. I believe ko icyo umuntu agutekerezaho is more of icyo ari cyo kurenza icyo uri cyo. If I am insecure, ukaba uri a confident person, my interpretation about your confidence will be arrogant. But the problem is not you.
It's
The
you.
problem is my insecurity.
Yes. Exactly.
So icyo abantu bagutekerezaho is not more of who you are, it's more of who they are.
That is really deep. Urimanukiye.
Uyu musore twanuza ntajya ashira ibintu mu Kinyarwanda.
Arabivuga akabivuga neza mu
Icyo abantu bagutekerezaho ntabwo ari icyo uri cyo, ahubwo nicyo bari cyo. So baba bari kuguprojecta, bakurebera muri rinete z'icyo bari cyo.
Bakabigushira. Urabona akora amakosa aragira icyo hari akora ko bo muri bo n'abajura.
Nabajura mu
Ariko
mutima
wowe
yawe.
urikorera
Yeah,
ibintu
exactly.
byawe kandi uratera.
He's so deep. So good.
Jege ya medisiva. Nimba ubona ko ndi umutwitsi nyine hadashyase. Kuko umva impamvu. Nimba umuntu akubashye, njyewe wenda aho ngaho iyo point ishobora kuba ingonga. Nimba umuntu akubashye akakubona ati turiya muntu ashobora kuba afite amafaranga akagira iki, wenda guhera utuntu postinga njye nina duhura no mu buzima busanzwe nzagutwika. Impamvu ni hari ahantu wanshyize kandi ntabwo nshaka kuhava. Gutwika n'ugoza nzahaguma. Tujye ku yindi.
Indi point tugeze ku kintu. Ariko rero mbavuze ukuri ngiye kuboteka dukore nka zirindwi gusa. Noneho indi point ya gatanu.
Abavip bari gusakuza. Ngo yewe 10.
Nimutubwira 10 tuzakora iki kiganiro basi kizi gusa tuzivuge nde. Ingiro sayidi. Ubushaka muri comfort zone yawe n'ubushaka stepping out. Soba ngo niba ubikorera ukenga amafaranga ukemereye gutya n'ikindi cyo uri comfortable. Hari uri comfortable kabisa. Ntago bashaka gutrying ibintu bishyashya. So ngo nose bateye imbere bawiringa gutangiza ibintu batari bamenyereye. What do you guys think? Stepping out of your comfort zone.
Reka ntangire. That is absolutely true. Nta muntu umwe wigeze utera imbere cyangwa wigeze ugera ku kintu atafashe risk iri immense, abantu bakabanza kumwita umusazi cyangwa bakabanza kumubona nkaho harimo ikibazo. Hari nk'ubu ndatanga urugero. Hano twese we are university, uretse Gaere ufite masters, abandi I don't know, we are shy away from graduates. We have you sinzi wenda murabe muraza kugira icyo muvaho. Aho ngenza sharinga personal stories zanyu men. Bamara murashaka kubivuga.
No, that's true though. That's true.
Urumva? Ariko gufata nawe Gaere nawe nakimumariye dore byitemberera arimo arakora real estate kandi atari byiza. So urumva iyo kiyo risk umuntu aba yarafashe kuva mu ishuri ni ikintu gikomeye. Kuva mu ishuri ni risk. Ntabwo mbwenga abantu bose muyifate, ntabwo ari abantu bose. Ariko kuva mu ishuri ukaba ati ngiye gukora ibintu bya entrepreneurship, hari risk ibirimo. Bene namwe mushobora kuza kugira ikindi kintu mu byongeraho.
Nibanda comment.
Well, kambanziriza tone na kibazo. So there is a saying that says comfort place is a beautiful place but nothing grows there. Ushobora kuhagera ukabona hameze neza, hasa neza, but the growth is limited. So iyo turimo turagerageza kumva neza the history of humankind, tushobora kuyikredita like 80% of that to going outside of the comfort zone. Every single leader, I bet my life on this, every single leader who is extraordinary yabaye a leader kubera ko he saw something aravuga ngo why do we have to do always these things this way?
Right.
That's the mindset.
That's right.
Of a top 1%.
you disrupt stuff. Impamvu rero abantu bakunda comfort zone nuko ntago abantu bakunda to change the norms, bakunda to maintain
the norms.
And abantu bari scared to be pointed fingers at, bigatuma batabasha. Kandi every single night impamvu udasinzira, impamvu ubyuka in the middle of the night and you never find a sleep, ni ukubera ko uri gusubiza ikintu muri wowe cyakabaye kiri hanze. Ibyo bintu bikakubuza peace of mind, bigatuma buri gihe nubwo warara mu nzoga ukarara utwika, urabyuka saa 9 z'ijoro kubera ko there is something.
indi point one more, muri ready?
Yeah.
indi rero iravuga ngo you don't have goals for your money. Impamvu abantu benshi niba amafaranga yose ubonye
Of course.
nta goals uyafitiye,
Of course.
nta vision uyafitiye,
Ntabwo za developing.
nta kibazo. Donc
course.
urayafata akagira.
Of course.
There is no goals.
Of course.
iyi murebe what you have to
Ijana ku ijana ge.
Iriyo nyuma
Ijana ku
y'ibyo.
ijana ngenda yemera anytime ufite amafaranga niyo wabona. I've been in a position from 100 to 0. I've been all there in between. Every time ufite amafaranga uko yaba angana kose, utayafitiye goal,
utafite gahunda,
udafite gahunda, utavuga ati nzagura iki, nzishyura iki, nzagura ebana
nawe wika
Kigali Fest, Kivu Fest.
Hagahita
Kivu Fest harashye.
Kivu Fest gashya.
Provoking the gatoya.
Yeah.
I believe ko nta muntu n'umwe utagira goals for money. Ahubwo the problem is
baruzuye.
which goals. The problem is which goals do you have for your money?
Yeah, let's hear that.
Is it goals for pleasure or goals for purpose?
They're gold.
goals za pleasure ntabwo ziri
Goals are goals.
They
ziriza
are. They are. They are.
No.
But they are.
Goals are goals. Ushobora gusettinga goals zo gusevinga, ushobora gusettinga goals zo
Okay.
pleasure.
Uzi abakobwa
Nta na
banyandikira
rimwe.
uzi abakobwa banyandikira kuri Instagram.
Ngo ndike kuvuga ngo nzazavaho 700,000 bya pleasure yanjye bya church ku cyumweru. Ese nagusenga wowe.
Tugateranya se.
Njye reka mbabwize ukuri.
Abera agomba
Reka mbabwize ukuri bivuge
honestly.
nanareba kamera.
Yeah.
Abakobwa muzagura telefone ku iposita turabakunda. You have nice goals for your money. Goals. Buy a
Honestly.
phone 13 Pro Max, you're making me rich.
guse abahungu bazagura telefone zinjya
Niba
bagura
oya gaye nagomba kubanza gushimira
Abahungu
abakobwa,
bazabafata.
abahungu nzabavuga.
gukurikiyeho.
None abahungu
Baza
muza
baherekeje.
muherekeje aba
Baje
bakobwa.
kwishyura.
None bamwe muratwika birenze. None abahungu baza ngo ngiye ngo zikureba iyo original.
Ari umukobwa uri mwicira wafite
wafite tekino. Reka mbabwize ukuri ku iposita turabakunda.
umuhungu afite tekino
akaza kugura 12 Pro Max.
akishyura
12 Pro Max
Y'umukobwa.
akanamuherekeza kugira ngo agure iyo original.
urumva they have
Nibo bajya kwa
urumva they have goals for their money.
Ewa.
iruza muri ipote mu murayenge
Oya.
Oh yeah, you can't have goals without. I mean, you can't have your money without goals. Ntabwo bishoboka, man.
you cannot save
Yeah, you cannot.
ntabwo ushobora gusavinga ikintu wibuke bigeraho udafite goals udafite vision
Yeah,
y'amafaranga
exactly.
My last thought, right? And you have to know Aisha. So I want to make this strongly clear. Iyo usomye throughout the Bible, umuntu wese Imana yagiye gukorera ikintu yabanza igategura mindset ye.
very true.
If it's Moses, ikamubwira ngo ugiye kugira umwana. If it's Mary, uzabyara umwana. If it's Israelites, hari igihugu ndi kubategurira. Kubera ko before anything else ibaho in a physical manifestation, it needs an intellectual ability to discern it. So the journey uri gustruggling nayo aka kanya is to get your mind ready for that which you're seeking for. My encouragement to you is that never get tired in kwagura your intellectual learning capabilities.
Right.
Bigire ready, utangire wumve ko you deserve that. Because there is never a person now who is a high performer, who is a top 1%, byabayeho by chance. It's always a matter of conception and internalization and practicality.
Right.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
get your mind right, see that before you see that, with the faith, which is action in absence of evidence,
Right.
you're gonna see that through.